Commander Mara Vance killed the engines with a single flick. The UNSS Vanguard shuddered, thrust vanishing as the massive alien armada bore down, 500 hulls blotting the stars, corvettes swarming like hornets. "Comms, broadcast surrender code, all channels," Vance said. Her voice cut through the bridge hum. "Life support only, weapons cold." Lieutenant Ilya Chen's fingers danced over her console, surrender protocols locked in. The forward screens filled with the enemy fleet. Cathari Dominion battlecruisers, their hulls etched with conquest runes, flanked by boarding corvettes pulsing blue drive flares. Admiral Kethrune's flagship loomed largest, a kilometer-long behemoth named Iron Grasp *. Its comms pinged back instantly. A guttural voice boomed through translators laced with triumph. "Human vessel Vanguard *. This is Admiral Kethrune of the Dominion Ascendancy. Your surrender honors you. Prepare for boarding, resist, and your prestige dies with you." Vance leaned forward. Her crew held position, no flinch, no chatter. Discipline etched their faces. "Helm, initiate micro-tumble, 3 degrees per second, port over stern. Keep our spine aligned to their approach vector." "Aye, ma'am." Ensign Patel adjusted thrusters. The Vanguard began a lazy drift spin, presenting its armored belly to the fleet. Railgun turrets and missile bays swung out of arc, hidden behind the curving hull. Chen's eyes narrowed at her sensor feed. Noise cluttered the plot, Cathari jamming fields, decoy drones. But patterns emerged. MAM tagging inbound corvettes. Drive signatures match their Raider class, overloaded ion wakes from mass troops. 15 confirmed, vectoring for our midships bays. "Lock solutions, but hold fire," Vance ordered. "Let them commit." Chief Eleni Rourke's voice crackled from engineering. "Bulkheads sealed, ma'am. Decompression vents armed on decks 4 through 8. Power shunted to point defense clusters. We can vent boarders into the black on your word." "Good. Stand by." Vance watched the corvettes close. The Vanguard floated helpless, a prize adrift. Cathari tractors latched on with metallic clangs that vibrated the deck. Breach pods hammered home, red-hot cutters slicing airlocks. Alarms wailed. "Boarders breaching bays 3 and 5, Chen reported. On the main screen, Captain Savatrell's face appeared, hacked feed from a corvette. Scaled features twisted in a raider's grin. "Human Commander, I am Captain Savatrell. Your ship will be ours intact. Minimal casualties. Surrender your bridge and live to serve." Vance keyed the open channel. "Captain Trell, we yield. Bridge access granted." She cut the link. "Rourke, vent bays 3 and 5. Chen, light up their tractors." Explosions rocked the hull. Rourke's traps fired, bulkheads snapped shut, vents roared open. Cathari Marines tumbled into vacuum, suits cracking under decompression stress. Point-defense lasers stabbed out, snapping tractor beams like threads. Savatrell's feed flickered back. "What sorcery? Report!" Vance ignored him. The Vanguard S tumble carried her dorsal arcs into play. "Helm, steady out. Weapons hot, all batteries." Railguns thrummed to life. Slugs accelerated to Mach 50, punching through corvette hulls. Chen's tags proved gold, fire control solutions pierced jamming. 3 corvettes erupted in fireballs, spewing wreckage. Admiral Kethrune's voice thundered across the net. "Boarding holds prestige. Sava, secure the prize. Flankers envelop." But the Vanguard twisted free. Remaining corvettes recoiled, their pods still lodged. Marines poured in through secondary hatches, 100-strong squads armored in powered exos, plasma lances glowing. "Marines to repel," Vance said. "Rourke, flood corridors with chaff and stunners." Deck by deck, the fight turned brutal. Vance gripped her chair as reports flooded in. Sergeant Hale's squad held Bay 4. Grenades cycled Cathari into paste, then fell back through iris valves. Rourke rerouted plasma conduits, superheating ambush points. Raiders boiled in their suits. Chen vectored drones into the breaches. "Ma'am, their Marines cluster by squads, predictable doctrine, feeding fire patterns to autocannons." Vance nodded. "Prioritize officers, break their chain." A Cathari squad breached the outer engineering ring. Rourke met them personally, arc welder in hand. She danced through sparks, venting a corridor. 10 raiders ejected. 1 lunged. She sidestepped, drove the welder through its visor. "Back to your Admiral, Scaleface." Up on the bridge, Chen's screens bloomed red. "Corvettes down to 7. Iron Grasp * launching fighters. Counter with our wings," Vance cut in. Vanguard *S fighter bays spat Hornets, sleek human interceptors, AI piloted for swarm tactics. They carved through Cathari birds, lasers stitching precise kills. Savatrell's voice broke through static. "Commander, your traps dishonor the right, pull back." Too late. Vance slammed the big red button. Shipwide klaxons howled. "Full power, engines to flank, punch us out." The * Vanguard roared alive. Main drives ignited, shearing off the last corvette clamps. Marines still aboard tumbled. Rourke's vents claimed dozens more. Admiral Kethrune's fleet surged to block. Battle cruisers loosed salvos, but Vance's drift had baited them close. Chen, designate flag. All missiles ripple fire. 200 smart missiles leaped from the * Vanguard *S spine. They weaved through countermeasures, warheads blooming against iron grasp *S shields. The Admiral's hull buckled, secondary explosions ripping hangar bays. Kethrune's transmission fractured. "Impossible, boarding never fails, your primitives dare." "Primitives win wars," Vance replied. She watched Chen tag the fleet's weak flank. Corvettes had overextended, screening the heavies. "Helm, hard burn, vector 090. Rails on their van." The * Vanguard accelerated, a silver dagger through the armada. Slugs hammered Cathari flanks, crumpling armor. Fighters mopped borders, exposing the trap. Kethrune's force hung in a prestige net, optimized for capture, not pursuit. No kill shots primed, no reserves deep. Savatrell's corvette exploded on sensors. His last words, "Admiral, abort, the humans fight like voids." Panic rippled the alien net. Battle cruisers broke formation, corvettes scattering. Vance's Marines sealed the last breaches. Rourke patched hulls mid-burn. "We're venting atmosphere, but she'll hold, ma'am." Chen grinned. "Fleet cohesion fracturing, they're routing." Vance allowed a tight smile. The * Vanguard blasted clear, stars wheeling as the armada recoiled, a lesson etched in debris. Kethrune's voice faded. "All ships disengage, the humans, they deny us glory." But Vance knew better. Glory was survival, and the galaxy just learned humans wrote the doctrine. Engines thrummed. A new vector opened, reinforcements inbound, the real hammer falling. The trap exposed. Kethrune's largest fleet was bait itself, drawn out for humanity's counterstrike. Alien Marines clanked across the docking tube, their powered exosuits gleaming under emergency lights. Commander Mara Vance watched the feed on her main holoscreen, fingers steepled. The Cathari corvette had latched clean onto airlock ring 4, the safe one per doctrine. She'd greenlit it herself. "Borders crossing threshold," Lieutenant Ilya Chen reported from tactics. His voice stayed flat, eyes locked on sensor overlays. 10 Tango's heavy weapons, no explosives detected yet. Vance nodded. "Rourke, you have green light, make it educational." "Aye, ma'am." Chief Eleni Rourke's reply crackled from engineering. On the split screen, her teams swarmed the collar controls. The lead Cathari Marine planted a mag boot on Vanguard's deck. His squad fanned out, plasma rifles sweeping. "Human vessel secured," their commander barked over open channel. "Surrender or—" alarms screamed. Vance felt the deck shudder as Rourke vented the collar. Atmosphere howled out in a white plume, yanking unsecured gear into vacuum. The alien suits sealed fast, but panic flashed in their postures, arms flailing for handholds. Then the sheer, explosive bolts fired in sequence. The umbilical wrenched free with a metallic screech, corvette tumbling loose. Fuel lines ruptured, spraying plasma. The alien boarders spun into the void, tethers snapping like thread. "Collar clear," Rourke said. "Hull integrity holding at 98%, ready for next." Vance's lips twitched. "Good work, Chen, eyes on the fleet response." Sensors lit up. Kethrune's armada adjusted, 3 corvettes vectoring in, grapples deploying. They aimed for the outer rings, betting on overwhelming numbers, traditionalists. Boarding proved dominance, kills were crude. "Multiple inbound," Chen said. His fingers danced over fire control boards. Point defense turrets spun up, tracking. "Grapples hot, firing bursts." Vance leaned forward. The holodisplay showed grapples lancing out, magnetic claws hungry for purchase. Chen's math kicked in. PD lasers fired in microbursts, precise as scalpel cuts. First grapple vaporized mid-flight. Second shattered, shrapnel peppering its own corvette. The third latched barely before Chen's follow-up shredded it. Alien chatter flooded comms. "Shields failing, point defense, it's predicting us." "They're not predicting," Vance murmured. "They're calculating." Chen grinned without looking up. "Trajectory solved." Next wave shredded in 10. but Kethrun pressed. A fourth corvette bull-rushed, boarding tube extending like a spear. It clamped onto Ring 3, seals hissing tight. Fresh Marines poured across, 20 this time, under Captain Savatrell's lead. Vance checked damage reports. Inner hull held, but power draw spiked. Rourke, status on Ring 3? Compromised, ma'am. Marines inbound. I can flood with halon or decompress, but it'll take 30 seconds. Too long. The Cathari breached the outer lock. Boots thumped on deck plates. Rifles barked suppressed fire, chewing at inner doors. Helm evasive pattern Delta, Vance ordered. Keep us bow on to their heavies, rails charging? Affirmative, the helmsman replied. 40%. Chen tagged vectors. Their fleets screening us, corvettes overextended. Heavies can't fire without blues on blues. Vance saw it. Kethrun's prestige net, capture the human prize, parade it. No kill shots risk the glory, perfect trap for them if humans played fair. Captain Trell to humans, a new voice cut in, gravelly with accent. Your primitives fight well but yield. Admiral demands the ship intact. Vance keyed her mic. Tell your Admiral primitives win wars. She cut the line. Chen, lock that corvette's reactor through the tube. Single rail slug timed for full extension. Risky, ma'am. Tubes narrow, could glance off. Do the math. His console hummed. Solutions cascaded. Locked, reactor core exposed at full latch, firing on your mark. Deck vibrated. The alien tube extended fully, Marines midway across. Trell's squad hammered the inner lock, sparks flew. Mark, the railgun thrummed. A single depleted uranium slug lanced out at Mach 20. It punched straight through the tube, alien Marines vaporizing in the flash. The round bored into the corvette's belly, reactor shields bypassed. Secondary explosions bloomed. The corvette cracked open like an egg. Debris spewed, boarding tube shearing away. Trell's voice died mid-snarl. Admiral, abort the humans. Vance watched the chain reaction. Shrapnel pelted neighboring corvettes. Their formations buckled. Direct hit, Chen confirmed. Reactor cascade, fleet cohesion dropping. Rourke patched in. Ring 3 venting controlled, Marines spacing the borders were sealed. But the armada swarmed closer. Fighters streaked from ripped hangar bays. Grapples flew wild now, desperation creeping in. Kethrun's transmission fractured the bridge speakers. Impossible, boarding never fails, your primitives dare, primitives win wars, Vance replied coolly. She watched Chen tag the fleet's weak flank. Corvettes had overextended, screening the heavies. Helm hard burn Vector 090, rails on their van. The vanguard accelerated, a silver dagger knifing through the armada. Inertial dampers groaned. Slugs hammered Cathari flanks, crumpling armor plates. Fighters mopped the borders, lasers carving through exposed tubes. Vance gripped her console. Damaged klaxons wailed, a stray plasma bolt grazed the flank. Rourke, patching now, atmosphere venting, but she'll hold, ma'am. Alien panic rippled across sensors. Battle cruisers broke formation, corvettes scattering like roaches. Savatrell's corvette, the one they'd slagged, exploded fully on scopes. His last words echoed, Admiral, abort the humans fight like voids. Chen's grin widened. Fleet routing, cohesion fractured. Vance allowed a tight smile. The trap exposed, Kethrun's largest fleet hung optimized for capture, not pursuit. No kill shots primed, no reserves deep. They'd drawn themselves out for humanity's counterstrike. Marines report last breaches sealed, Rourke added. Engines thrummed deeper. A new vector opened on scans, reinforcements inbound, the real hammer. Kethrun's voice faded to static. All ships disengage, the humans, they deny us glory. Vance straightened. Glory was survival. The galaxy just learned the doctrine, but one corvette lingered defiant. Its grapples fired anew straight at the bridge ring. Chen, she said, shred it. Lasers answered. The boarders had come for a prize. They found a porcupine. Vance's eyes narrowed on the holoscreen. That lingering corvette twisted, evading PD bursts. Its commander, some diehard, pushed for glory. Tube extending, Marines visible through the feed, elite guard claws out. Rourke, flood Ring 5 if they latch. Prepped, ma'am, but power grids at 80%. Chen's fingers blurred. Adjusting bursts got their drift. The grapple snagged. Tube locked. First Marines crossed, 6 of them heavier suits, vibro blades humming. Vance hit the override, not yet. They breached the outer lock, boots echoed. For the Admiral's honor, one roared, Rourke's voice sharpened. Inner door buckling. Wait, Vance timed it. The tube fully extended, reactor aligned per Chen's overlay. Rail ready, Chen said. Fire, Slug screamed. Tube erupted in fire. The corvette's core lit space, chain reaction ripping two more vessels. Silence fell on the bridge. Debris fields expanded. The armada recoiled, engines flaring retreat. Vance exhaled. Damage report. Rurk, hull patched, systems green. Chen, they're breaking, full route. The stars wheeled as Vanguard burned clear. A lesson in modern war etched in plasma and slag. Reinforcements pinged, human heavies right on vector. The real trap snapped shut. Kethrune's final transmission, primitives, how? Vance didn't reply, she plotted pursuit. Doctrine demanded it. No, expand to 1500, that was short. Continue the scene with more detail, staying in Vance's POV. Deepen the beats. From Vance's view, sensory on bridge, vibrations, alarms, screens, show her calm decisions. Add alien reactions via comms sensors. Build tension during boarding. After first shear, more waves. Chen's burst math, describe briefly through action. Rail shot timed perfectly. Then transition to the acceleration and breaking out, matching previous context. Ensure word count, aim 1500. Count roughly, opening breaches confirmed on ports 3 and 7. Commander Mara Vance's screens flared red. Alien corvettes clamped hard, tubes extending like parasitic spines. The Vanguard shuddered under the strain, hull groaning through the deck plates. Boarding lanes plotted, Vance said. Her fingers danced over the tactical overlay. Traffic control patterns betrayed them. Command ship at Vector 047, broadcasting micropulses to coordinate the swarm. Kethrune's flagship, fat with marine pods. She marked it, a pulsing icon amid the Armada's chaos. Lieutenant Ilya Chen leaned into his console. Decoys deploying. 50 transponders live, ghost signatures matching their cruiser profiles. Local space lit with false pings. Alien formation wavered, frigates veering into phantom hulls. Chen's voice stayed level, eyes locked on sensor noise turning to symphony. Vance nodded. Good, drift us toward the debris field. 1/4 impulse steady. Engines thrummed low. Vanguard slid, a calculated tumble playing wounded prey. The Armada pursued, tight-packed now, boarding craft bunching in her wake. Geometry unfolded, lines of approach converging like pins in a map. Alarms spiked. First tube locked, Chief Eleni Rurk reported from engineering. Her voice cut through static, laced with grease and resolve. They're pumping atmosphere, seals holding but not forever. Vance eyed the plot. Clustered hulls filled Chen's targeting grid. Chain the locks, Lieutenant. Burst math on my mark. Chen's hands blurred. Locks chaining primary on Corvette Alpha 1 rippled to beta cluster. Firing windows 3 seconds at T-45. Vance watched the timer tick. Alien comms crackled over open channels, intercepted and piped to her earpiece. Admiral Kethrune's voice boomed, guttural with triumph. The primitives falter. Sava Trell, secure the prize. Capture proves our way, intact for the glory. Captain Sava Trell replied, clipped and pragmatic. Pods away, Admiral. Resistance minimal. Human doctrine crumbles under numbers. Vance's lips thinned, not yet. Fire! Plasma lanced out. Chen's chains snapped true. Beams sheared Alpha 1's engines, hull venting in a bright plume. Ripple fire caught 2 frigates in the blast shadow, armor sloughing like wax. Debris bloomed, sharpening the field ahead. The Armada recoiled fractionally but pressed on. More corvettes surged, dodging the ghosts. Vibrations rattled Vance's station, distant thuds of docking clamps biting deep. Second wave inbound, Chen said. They're adapting, jamming decoys on frequency 7. Recalibrate, Vance ordered. Bridge lights flickered, emergency reds pulsing. Sweat beaded on her neck, but her pulse stayed metronomic. Systems first, plot force, strike. Rurk damage status, port 3 buckling, Rurk snapped. Marines scrambling to bulkheads. I've got reroutes on power, railgun capacitors charging off auxiliary. Vance glanced at the overlay. The command ship hung back, directing the press. Kethrune's pulses intensified. Sensors caught Sava's update. Breaches confirmed, inner doors next. Casualties light honor holds. Boots echoed through internal comms, faint roars filtering up. For the Admiral's glory, yield humans. Tension coiled. Vance keyed engineering direct. Rurk, extend the tube on port 3, full length. Risky, Rurk said, but viable. Aligning reactor now. Chen overlaid the solution on Vance's main screen. A ghosted railgun barrel formed by the enemy tube, Vanguard's core as the power tap. Perfect geometry. They're inside the outer lock, Rurk warned. Vibrations intensified, deck plates humming with alien boots. Alarms wailed, pressure differentials spiking. Vance timed it. Stars wheeled slow on the forward glass. Chen burst math for the chain, windows by the second. Calculations live, Chen replied. His console chirped rapid fire. T-20, lock on Corvette reactor confirmed, propagation vector optimal, 15, 10, alien chatter surged. Savatrell, inner door yielding, push forward. Wait, Vance said, her crew held breath. Tube fully extended, reactor aligned. Hull creaked under strain. Rail ready, Chen said. Fire! The slug screamed down the makeshift barrel. Recoil slammed Vanguard like a hammer. The tube erupted in fire, superheated plasma jetting back along the invader's path. The Corvette's core lit space, a newborn sun blooming white-hot. Chain reaction rippled out, sympathetic detonations tearing two flanking frigates. Shrapnel scythed the cluster, hulls crumpling in cascade. Silence crashed over the bridge. Debris fields expanded, blotting sensors. The Armada's engines flared, retreat vectors blooming across Chen's plot. Vance exhaled slow. Damage report, Rourke's voice steadied. Hull patched, nanite sealing breaches, systems green across the board. Chen grinned faint. They're breaking formation, full route initiating. Command ship peeling off first. But sensors pinged fresh signatures. Third wave desperate ragged, Kethrun's voice cracked over comms. Sava, report what sorcery? Savatrell ragged. Core breach, total loss, pull back, they're demons with their metal. Vance's hands moved already. Helm full burn, plot pursuit on the command ship. Thrusters ignited, stars streaking. Vanguard surged free, shedding the siege like broken chains. Chen chained fresh locks. Firing solution queued, their cohesion's gone, easy picks. Engage at will, Vance said, beams lashed out, pruning stragglers. One frigate vented crew pods, tumbling silent. Alien panic flooded intercepts, screams in their tongue, orders fracturing. Rourke patched in, all hands secure, boarding parties vaporized. We're flying lean but mean. Vance watched the Armada fracture. Kethrun's flagship accelerated hard, but too late. Vanguard closed the gap, geometry dictating the kill. Reinforcements pinged, human heavies dropping from slipspace right on vector. Battleships and carriers, fangs of the real trap. The Armada wheeled, caught. Kethrun's final transmission rasped. Primitives, how? Boarding was certain. Vance didn't reply. She plotted the pursuit vector. Doctrine demanded it finish the lesson. Vanguard burned through the debris, plasma scars fading behind. The stars ahead promised more. Aliens brought numbers, humans brought geometry, and now they learned. Fresh alarms lit, evasion fire from the command ship. Vance adjusted course minimal, eyes on the plot. Chen's fingers flew, locks holding, their point defense is sloppy under stress. Fire, she said, lances struck true, carving the flagship's flank. Secondary explosions bloomed. Savatrell's voice cut off mid-report. Kethrun bellowed retreat. Pods jettisoned, survivors fleeing into the void. Human heavies joined the fray, broadsides turning the route to slaughter. Vanguard slipped through unscathed, vanguard of the counterstroke. Vance allowed a nod. Comm held, systems green. Mission advanced. Bridge crew exhaled as one. Rourke's laugh barked over comms. That's how you reroute a boarding party. Chen wiped his brow. Burst math paid off. Their patterns were textbook bunch, board, boast. Vance straightened. Prep for fleet sync. We lead the pursuit. Engines thrummed deeper. The Armada scattered, a lesson etched in plasma and slag. Modern war, not numbers, not tradition. Discipline, geometry, human doctrine unyielding. Sensors cleared, pursuit locked. The trap snapped shut. Impact klaxons wailed. Lieutenant Chen's fingers stabbed the tactical console. Pods inbound, ma'am. 8 clamps confirmed, 4 midships aft, breaches in 30. Commander Mara Vance gripped her command rail. The plot flickered with red icons. Kethrun's Armada ringed Vanguard like a noose. Numbers favored them. Tradition, too. Boarding pods punched through the debris field, magnetic grapples biting hull plating across multiple vectors. She traced the alignments. Geometry offered options. Helm rotate starboard 15 degrees, thrust to crush vectors on protrusions Alpha and Bravo. Vance's voice cut clean. Aye, ma'am. The deck shuddered. Inertial dampers whined. Vanguard spun, armor flanges shearing into 2 pods mid-clamp. Metal screamed. Chen's board lit with kills. Pods 2 and 5 pulverized, debris scattering. Vance nodded once. 6 remained. Drills echoed in her mind, standard response to multi-point siege. Aliens clustered their clamps, sloppy under pressure. Intercepts crackled over open channels. Captain Savatrell's voice, guttural through translation filters. Clamps secure, cutters deploying, breach teams advance, prize the human wreck intact, Admiral's orders. Vance keyed engineering. Chief Rourke, status on forward corridor 3? Rourke's reply barked instant. Breaches sealing with foam, but they're torching through, gimme vectors. Overpressurized C3, full life support dump sequenced vents, blow them back. Copy that, rerouting now. Vance watched the schematic, pumps reversed. Air howled through ducts, pressure spiking to lethal. Breaches erupted outward. Alien figures tumbled into vacuum, limbs flailing, suits venting. Chen whooped. 4 boarders ejected, seals holding on that section. Trell's channel spat fury. Team 2 report, what sorcery, fall back, regroup. Vance ignored it. Drones next. She punched the internal defense sequence. Hatches hissed. Maintenance bots repurposed, armed with cutters, jammers, monofilament webs, swarmed the compromised decks. Feeds patched to her console. Tiny hunters sliced grapples, fogged helmet visors with EMP bursts, funneled stragglers toward bulkhead traps. Chen leaned in. Drones hurting them to kill boxes. Fire control synced, railguns hot on internals. Execute. Vance's eyes stayed on the plot. Armada closed ranks, tractors lancing to snag escape pods. Kethrun played for prestige, capture over kill. Humans played systems, another breach alarm, aft engineering auxiliary. Rourke's voice cut sharp. They're in C-deck, drones engaging but heavies pushing. Vance plotted thrust. No room for full evasive, the clamps held like ticks. She vectored engines for microburns, stressing the grapples. Hull groaned. One pod sheared free, tumbling into the Armada's point defense. Fireballs bloomed. Trell growled over comms, push forward. Their internals are soft, standard corridors, no fortifications. Marines form up. Vance's jaw tightened. Soft, humans built for this. Every crew drilled hull breaches weekly. Suits on, stations sealed, response automated. She triggered Phase 2, compartmental floods. Chen's sensors pinged. Borders splitting 2 teams, main force to bridge axis. Seal non-essentials, drones to funnel. Vance watched the drone feeds. Bots darted like hornets, severing umbilicals, spraying sealant into joints. One alien marine swung a plasma torch. Drone countered with a web, pinning the arm. Railgun chatter echoed through the ship. Rourke patched in visual. Grainy cam showed her team welding a hatch shut. Overpressure bought time, but they're cutting auxiliary vents. I've got power shunts ready, wanna fry 'em? Negative, conserve for breakout. Vance eyed the Armada's formation, trap closing, heavy cruisers massed for the kill. She needed severance. Chen, designate grapple weak points, prep cutters. Targets locked. Their Marines are bunching, textbook swarm. Pods strained. Vance rolled the ship again, ventral thrusters firing asymmetric. Armor ridges ground against clamps 3 and 7. Sparks flew. One pod crumpled, Marines spilling into space. The other held barely. Trell's voice rose. Team 4 hold the breach. Bridge is close, cut the command core. Alarms spiked. Main breach forward. Drones swarmed, but mass told. Armored figures poured through, mag boots thudding decks. They fanned out, carbines sweeping. Human countermeasures snapped live. Turrets unfolded from bulkheads, spitting flechettes. Lights flickered to red emergency. Vance stood. Suit seals hissed as she donned her helmet. Bridge crew mirrored her. Defensive posture. Chen, you're on guns. I'll take point defense. Chen's hands blurred. The boarders hit the first kill zone. Drones had herded them true tight corridor, no cover. Internal rails barked. Aliens dropped, armor pocking. Survivors fired wild, beams scorching plating. Trell bellowed, flank left. Their drones are few, overwhelm. Vance patched drone control direct. Override jam frequencies, full spectrum. Bots pulsed EMP. Alien helmets glitched, visors blacking. Panic chatter erupted. One Marine breached a side hatch straight into Rourke's trap. Engineering flooded the compartment with cryogenic foam. The alien froze mid-step, carbine locked. Rourke laughed over comms. That's one for the freezer. Vance tracked the main push. 10 left, grinding forward. They reached the junction, human doctrine's heart. Bulkheads slammed shut behind them. Vents hissed. Atmosphere vented to hard vacuum, no escape. The aliens clawed at seals, suits held for now, but humans trained this. Vance watched feeds cool, Marines thrashed, tools slipping from numbed fingers. One cracked his helmet, gulping void. Others piled on a hatch, torches flaring weak. Chen reported, last clamp stressing, Armada's tractors inbound. Vance keyed fleet sync. Heavies were minutes out. She needed clean. Rourke, surge power to grapples, magnetic overload. Done. Hull vibrated, clamps blew fuses, pods jettisoning wild. Trell's final transmission. Admiral extraction, humans fight like demons in their own guts. Vance cut the channel. Drones mopped remnants, cut lines, picked off stragglers, bridge secure, systems green. But boarders weren't done. A final squad punched through midships, evading drones. They stacked on the bridge outer hatch, breaching charges priming. Vance drew her sidearm. Crew fanned out. Hold! Charges bloomed, hatch buckled. Aliens stormed in and learned why humans trained for hull breaches. The bridge airlock was no soft target. Automated protocols engaged. Floor panels irised open to vacuum chutes. Grapples fired, yanking two into the dark. Turrets stitched the rest. One Marine lunged at Chen. Rourke's rerouted shock grid dropped him convulsing. Vance fired twice. Center mass. The last alien crumpled. Silence fell. Alarms cleared. Chen exhaled. All breaches sealed. Pods adrift. Vance holstered. Plot pursuit vector. Doctrine demands we finish. Rourke patched up. How? Boarding was certain? Vance didn't reply. She plotted the pursuit vector. Doctrine demanded it. Finish the lesson. Fresh alarms lit. Evasion fire from the command ship. Vance adjusted course minimal, eyes on the plot. Chen's fingers flew. Locks holding. Their point defense is sloppy under stress. Fire. Lances struck true, carving the flagship's flank. Secondary explosions bloomed. Trell's voice cut off mid-report. Kethrun bellowed retreat. Pods jettisoned, survivors fleeing into the void. Human heavies joined the fray, broadsides turning the route to slaughter. Vanguard slipped through unscathed, vanguard of the counterstroke. Vance allowed a nod. Comm held. Systems green. Mission advanced. Bridge crew exhaled as one. Rourke's laugh barked over comms. That's how you reroute a boarding party. Chen wiped his brow. Burst math paid off. Their patterns were textbook bunch board boast. Vance straightened. Prep for fleet sync. We lead the pursuit. Engines thrummed deeper. The armada scattered, a lesson etched in plasma and slag. Modern war, not numbers, not tradition. Discipline, geometry, human doctrine unyielding. Sensors cleared, pursuit locked. The trap snapped shut. Vance punched the hidden drive burst. Thrust slammed her into the command throne. Vanguard lurched, engines howling beyond redline. The alien flagship loomed on the main plot, a bulbous behemoth, its gravity wake curling like a predator's claw. She rode it. Slingshot trajectory locked. The ship whipped around the wake's curve, G-forces crushing despite inertial dampers. Trajectory green, Chen called from TAC, his fingers blurred over fire control hollows. Their boarders are committed, pods inbound, 2 minutes to breach. Vance gripped the arms, comm held. Systems first. Rourke prep heat dump. Chen seed the packet on my mark. Alarms wailed. Alien point defense lanced past, grazing shields. The armada swarmed, 50 hulls, dagger-shaped raiders bunching for the kill. Kethrun's fleet, traditionalists, boarding proved dominance. Lasers wasted prestige. Vance eyed the plot. Her vector sliced their formation's heart. Mine buoys waited, seeded weeks ago in this approach lane. Human doctrine, prepare the trap before the enemy arrives. Mark, she said. Chen fired the tight beam packet. Invisible lance, data burst straight into the buoy's receivers. No chatter, no warning. Detonations bloomed silent at first. Then plasma fireballs expanded, swallowing a dozen raiders. Battle groups blinked out, hulls crumpling, drives rupturing in chain reactions. Debris fields sparked, secondary blasts ripping flanks. Kethrun's voice crackled over open comms, intercepted by Chen's array. What sorcery? Flankers reform. Sava press the borders. Captain Sava Trell's reply cut sharp. Pods away, human shields buckling. We take her intact. Vance's lips thinned, not yet. Rourke now. Deep in engineering, Rourke yanked the override. Reactor heat, pent-up megajoules, vented in a directed flare. Plasma torch erupted from Vanguard's ventral bays, timed to the mine wave. It stabbed outward, a sunburst tuned to overload alien sensors. Optics fried. LiDARs snowed static. Half the armada vanished behind the expanding plasma wall, ships ghosting blind. Silence, Vance ordered. All channels dark. No emissions. ECM full spectrum. Bridge lights dimmed to red. Crew held breath. Chen's plot flickered, resolving ghosts. 20 alien hulls drifted confused, engines cold. The rest groped in the plasma fog, collision klaxons blaring across intercepted bursts. Vance watched the hollows. Geometry ruled. Her slingshot positioned Vanguard dead center in their bunch. Mines cleared the outer screen. Flare bought seconds. Discipline turned crisis to calculus. Point defense hot, she said. Chen, designate borders. Rurk, lock hull integrity. Pods streaked closer, boarding torpedoes, blunt-nosed rams packed with Sava's Marines. Vanguard shuddered as the first struck amidships. Breaches alarms lit. "They're in," Chen reported. "Deck 4 engineering access." Vance unstrapped, pistol from holster. Marine response teams converge. "Chen, you have the con, keep us moving." She bolted for the lift. Boots pounded deckplate. The ship groaned under impacts. Second pod hit. Third. Aliens poured through, scaled raiders in powered exos, plasma cutters slicing bulkheads. Vance hit deck 4 running. Smoke-choked corridors, sparks flew from ruptured conduits. Her Marines traded fire, rifle bursts punching exos, grenades blooming orange. An alien loomed at junction, Sava's elite, claws extended. It charged. Vance sidestepped, pistol barking twice. Center mass, it crumpled, ichor spraying. "Commander," a Marine grunted, reloading. "They're pushing for the reactor." "Seal it," Vance snapped. She keyed her wristcom. "Rurk, status." Rurk's voice barked back, edged with strain. "Patching breaches." Rerouted power shields at 60%. Heat flare bought us time, but they're carving deep. Vance reloaded on the move. "Hold, mines did their work, fleet's breaking." Sensors fed her implants, Chen's work. Armada fractured. Kethrune's flagship reversed hard, evading debris. Half his battle group slagged. Survivors scattered, point defense whittling their own pods caught in crossfire. Sava's comms leaked through. "Admiral, human witchery, sensors blind." "Press, capture proves all," Kethrune roared, traditionalist to the core. Vance rounded a corner, firefight ahead. Her team pinned behind crates. Aliens advanced methodical, suppressors chattering. She flanked left, dropped to a slide. Pistol cracked, headshot on the lead raider. Marines surged. "Push," she yelled. They reclaimed the junction. Bodies piled, human tech outmatching alien numbers. Exos sparked, human rounds piercing joints. Grenades sealed breaches with foam-hard sealant. Back on bridge, Chen plotted evasion. Pods down to stragglers, their formations gone. Heavy elements requesting sync, our heavies inbound. Vance arrived, sweat slick, strapped in. "Status." "Shields holding, drive burst cooled, plot pursuit vector," she nodded. "Ignite." Engines thrummed. Vanguard accelerated, weaving slag fields. Alien retreat solidified, Kethrune bellowing orders, ships peeling off, but borders pressed. Final pod rammed dorsal, alarms peaked. "Chief," Vance said. "Reroute them." Rurk laughed over comms. "On it," dumping vented plasma into access tubes. Raiders screamed as superheated gas flushed corridors. Exos melted. Pods vented crews to vacuum. Chen's board lit green. All breaches sealed, their flagship exposed. "Fire," Lance batteries spoke. Beams carved the behemoth's flank. Armor parted, secondary explosions chained. Sava's voice cut mid-report. "Admiral, we..." Static. Kethrune bellowed retreat. Pods jettisoned, survivors fleeing. Human heavies dropped from warp, broadsides thundering. The route turned slaughter. Vanguard slipped through unscathed, vanguard of the counterstroke. Vance allowed a nod. Comm held, systems green, but the hook lingered. They tried to board one ship. Whole battle groups blinked out. Chen exhaled. "Burst math paid off. Textbook patterns bunch board boast." Rurk patched in. "That's how you reroute a boarding party." Vance straightened. "Prep fleet sync, we lead pursuit." Sensors cleared, fresh contacts bloomed, more alien reserves vectoring in. The lesson etched deeper. Kethrune's final intercept. Humans, they prepared the void itself. Vance's eyes narrowed, discipline, geometry. The trap snapped wider. Deeper in the plot, ambush vectors aligned. Human doctrine demanded finish. She ignited secondary burst. Vanguard surged ahead, Armada's remnants scattering like chaff. Chen's fingers flew. Locks on stragglers, mines reloaded, buoys redeploying. Good. Rurk cycle reactors, flare on standby. The chief grunted approval. Heat sinks dry, ready to blind him again. Alien chatter spiked. Panic laced Kethrune's commands. "Reform line, boarding was the key." Sava's channel stayed dead. Vance watched the hollows. Her slingshot had carved the perfect lane. Mines exploited their bunching, raiders flown tight for prestige assault. Flare masked the kills. Silence hid the pursuit. Now heavies synced. Broadside volleys gutted flanks. Vanguard danced through, point defense plucking escape pods. One raider veered close, desperate ram. Vance adjusted minimal. "Chen." "Got it." Fire controls slewed, railguns spat. The raider shredded, spinning into its own fleet. Kethrune's voice broke. Fall back, all ships. Too late. Human minds pinged anew, triggered by Chen's packet. More fireballs, battle groups vaporized. Vance holstered her sidearm, bridge secure. Crew exhaled as one. Doctrine holds, she said, pursuit locked. The void filled with slag. Aliens learned modern war favored the prepared, but reserves inbound. Kethrun rallied them. Fresh armada massed, hundreds strong. Vance plotted the next slingshot. Gravity wakes beckoned. Cycle drives, we teach again. Engines roared. Vanguard led the charge. Chen's sensors pierced the debris. Reserves bunching, same pattern. Vance smiled faint. Underestimate repeated. Rurk heat build up. Max. Flare primed, minds seated, geometry set. The lesson expanded. They boarded one ship and fleets would blink out. Kethrun's trap reversed. Human doctrine unyielding. Fresh alarms. Contact. Bigger prey. Vance leaned in. Engage, rails thundered. Vanguard's broadside ripped through the lead reserve frigate. Debris bloomed in the holotank. Chen's fingers danced over fire control. 2 down, grapples launching from the heavies. Vance gripped her command rail. The alien reserves, 50 strong, swarmed in perfect echelon. Kethrun's voice crackled over open channels. Commit all grapples, finish the capture, prestige demands it. She watched the hollows sharpen. Tethers uncoiled from the alien heavies like spider silk. Dozens targeted her damaged port flank, the one Rurk had plated with spare armor hours ago. Vance keyed engineering. Rurk status. Flanks a fortress, ma'am, shields at 80. Grapples won't know what hit 'em. Good, Chen marked those tethers as beacons. Chen's screens lit with overlays. Each grapple line glowed red, perfect vectors back to their motherships. Vance eased Vanguard's thrust. She rolled the ship deliberately, exposing that weak side. Alarms wailed as the first tether latched. Magnetic clamps bit into hull plating. More followed. 10, 20. The holotank showed a web of lines yanking her toward the alien core. Kethrun's triumph boomed fleet-wide. The human falls, secure boarding parties. Savatrel's raiders swarmed the tethers, hundreds in void suits, mag boots pounding toward airlocks. Vance ignored them, her eyes locked on Chen. Walk the fire, Chen grinned. With pleasure. She slewed the main battery. Railgun 1 targeted the nearest tether's origin ship. Slam, the line parted at the root. Severed grapple whipped wild, slicing into its own hull. Explosions chained along the tether network. Vance nodded. Cycle, Rail 2 fired. Another tether mother vaporized mid-pull. Boarding raiders tumbled into the void, tethers gone slack. Chen chained the shots, beacon to beacon. Fire walked the web. Alien heavies bucked as their own grapples betrayed them. One prestige carrier erupted when a severed line punched its bridge. They're bunching to cover, Chen called. Sensors painted the chaos. Kethrun's reserves clustered tight, shields overlapping in panic. Vance transmitted on all channels, wide beam unencrypted. Disengage now. Her guns kept cycling. No pause, Kethrun snarled back. You fight from a cage, human. Sava's marines breach your hull. A tether shuddered against Vanguard's flank. Breaches lit the damage board, controlled ones. Rurk's teams sealed them with foam and bulkheads. Boarders contained, ma'am, funneled to decks 3 and 5. Flush them. Vance turned to Chen. Prioritize the web. Fire control obliged. Rails spat tungsten death. Tether mothers shredded one by one. The holotank cleared, half the reserves slagged, the rest recoiling. Sava's channel flickered alive. Vance, your traps, static. Chen's countermeasures jammed it. Vance leaned into the plot. The bait worked, exposed flank drew the mass grapple. Now the prestige charge faltered. Kethrun's armada tangled in its own lines. She keyed point defense. Pluck the boarders. Lasers lanced out. Raiders vaporized mid-tether, hundreds gone in seconds. Survivors clustered at airlocks, breaching charges priming. Rurk's voice cut in. Charges away, venting sections, they're spaced. Vance exhaled. Crew stations hummed, discipline held. No panic, just execution, Kethrun roared. Reform, new grapples, Captain Sava report. Silence, Sava's lead ship spun wrecked, tethers fouling its drives. Chen's boards pinged. They're scattering, ma'am, but heavies regrouping astern. Vance plotted the slingshot anew. Gravity well ahead, perfect for the breakout. Rurk, reroute power to bow thrusters. Chen seed mines along the tethers. Mines deployed. Silent hunters amid the web. An alien heavy closed bold. Grapples fired fresh. One latch true. Boarding pods detached, rocketing in. Pod salvo inbound, Chen said. Counterfire. Vance watched the intercept. Point defense carved the pods. Wreckage peppered the grapples, more beacons. Chen walked rails along the new lines. Slam, another heavy-gutted. Kethrune's voice cracked. Evasive, target her guns. Alien lasers splashed Vanguard's shields. Hull groaned, Rourke patched fast. Shields holding, rerouting plasma vents. Vance transmitted again. Disengage, last warning. Guns cycled relentless. Boarders breached a secondary lock. Marines repelled them, rifles barking in tight corridors. Human fire discipline shredded the aliens, no quarter asked. Savatrell fought through a vent shaft himself. His squad pushed a bulkhead. Human defenders waited, grenades rolled. Blast. Sava tumbled, suit breached, he keyed his comm. Admiral, pull back, this is no prize. Kethrune ignored him. All reserves, mass assault. Capture or ram? Dozens more grapples lashed out. The web thickened. Vanguard strained against the pull. Chen's eyes narrowed. Tether grid complete, perfect targeting net. Light it up. Vance gripped tight, rails roared, fire walked the grid, methodical. Tether 1 severed, mother hold. Tether 2, carrier split. Chain reactions bloomed. Mines detonated on cue, turning the web into a kill zone. Alien ships collided in the snarl. Kethrune's fleet hemorrhaged. Half the reserves gone. Prestige cruisers drifted hulks. Vance rolled Vanguard free. Thrusters fired hot. She broke the web, slingshotting toward the gravity wake. Shields at 40, Rourke reported. Holding, Chen tracked pursuits. They're hesitant, patterns breaking. Vance smiled faint. Doctrine turned crisis to lesson. Aliens chased glory, humans exploited it. Kethrune bellowed. Human witch, Sava, secure that bridge. Sava gasped over dying comms. Impossible, their fire, precise. Static, Vance keyed fleet-wide. Disengage. Rails punctuated each word, the armada faltered. Heavies peeled off, trailing plasma, reserves rooted, but sensors pinged deep, bigger signatures rising from the trap's core. Kethrune's true hammer, Chen's voice sharpened. Dreadnoughts emerging, full armada commit. Vance plotted the intercept. Cycle all batteries. We exposed the trap. Engines burned. Vanguard charged the heart, grapples snapped free. Vanguard surged ahead. Chen's rails carved lanes through the debris. Alien dreadnoughts loomed, behemoths with prestige lances primed. Kethrune's voice thundered. End them. Vance dodged the first volley. Shields flared. Rourke damage. Localized, forward arrays rerouted. Chen locked beacons. Lingering tether stubs glowed. Using their grid against the big boys. Fire walked. Dreadnought 1 bucked. Lance batteries silenced. Mines from the web clung to hulls, blooming inside armor. Aliens adapted fast. Their point defense swatted human drones. Lances pierced a decoy pod. Vance transmitted demand. Surrender the trap, disengage. Kethrune laughed. Your lone ship, we claim it whole. Boarding waves renewed. Pods slammed home. Rourke's teams fought deck by deck. Marines held. Human squads used chokepoints, overwatch, frags, suppress. Aliens piled bodies. Sava rallied a final push. His raiders breached engineering. Rourke met them. Welcoming committee. She vented plasma lines. Suits melted. Sava retreated, coughing blood in his helm. Vance watched the board. Crew losses minimal. Doctrine contain, counter, cull. Dreadnoughts closed. Their grapples massed hundreds. Expose flank again, Vance ordered. Rourke braced it fresh. Tethers latched. Web reformed. Chen lit the grid. Rails chained kills. Dreadnoughts shattered. Kethrune's prestige fleet unraveled. He screamed orders. Ships bunched defensive. Vance's slingshot peaked. Momentum broke the siege. Vanguard whipped free, guns raking sterns. Sensors cleared the trap. Armada exposed, hundreds gutted. Kethrune's voice broke. Fall back, all units. Too late. Chen's packet triggered outer mines. Fireballs chained. Vance holstered her sidearm anew. Bridge crew stood firm. Doctrine holds. Pursuit locked. The void filled with fear. But one dreadnought veered desperate. Ram course. Chen. Got it. Rails spat. It shredded. Aliens blinked out. Fleet vaporized. Kethrune's last transmission. What are you? Vance smiled. Prepared. Fresh contacts. Reinforcements. No. Human backup, finally. The lesson Vance slammed the all-hands klaxon silent. Chen, micro-window. Enemy comm lag. Give me numbers. Lieutenant Ilya Chen's fingers blurred across the tactical grid. Sensors hummed. Alien dreadnoughts scattered in the blast wake. Their formation cracked. Human reinforcements streaked in from the outer belt. 4 corvettes, rails hot. But the Armada's remnants coiled for revenge. Pods still clung to Vanguard's hull like ticks. Window in 12 seconds, ma'am, Chen said. Their flag broadcasts lag at 0.3 light. Jump vector 187 Mark 42. Clean slip. Engineering Rourke status. Vance's voice cut through the bridge chatter. Chief Eleni Rourke's face filled the main feed, sweat streaked under her breather mask. Sparks flew behind her. Last breach sealed, Commander. Deck 4's a charnel house, but we're airtight. Marines mopping stragglers. Dump wreckage on my mark, mask the signature. Aye. Torpedo debris fields deploying now. Vance watched the plot. Enemy grapples retracted from shattered hulks. Kethrune's voice crackled over open channels, intercepted and raw. All units pursue the human vessel. Boarding honors await the bold. His fleet hesitated. Survivors nursed wounds. Distant engines flared, half-hearted thrusts. Jump clock, Vance said. 3-2, mark. Chen punched it. Vanguard's drive coils whined, reality stretched. Stars blurred into hyperspace foam. The ship lurched free, sloughing debris in a glittering tail. Wreckage bloomed behind twisted pods, alien corpses, Vanguard's own shed armor. It smeared their jump flare like chaff. Bridge lights flickered. Crew braced. No pursuit signatures pierced the mask. Clean break, Chen confirmed. They're blind. Vance nodded once. Helm standard evasion pattern, Rourke battle short. Rourke grinned through the feed, wiping blood from her cheek. Shorting now. Give me 10 minutes, she'll purr. Vance turned to the main holoscreen. Human corvettes danced through the Armada's gutted core. Mines chained final kills. Kethrune's flagship limped, prestige banners tattered. His pursuit order echoed unanswered. Subordinate captains barked excuses over Tightbeam. Flag, this is Hunter's pride. Damaged, cannot close. Red Claw declining, rails dry. Fear laced their tones. The alien fleet that had boxed Vanguard now fled its own shadow. Vance keyed the sector-wide burst transmitter, no preamble. Vanguard actual to all human assets and neutrals, trap exposed. Armada routed. Boarding attempt failed, 62% enemy pod losses, minimal human casualties. Doctrine note, contain borders in choke points. Counter with prepared fires, cull via environmentals. Intact capture invites this. She attached the tack logs, rail chains, vented breaches, marine kill counts. Transmission beamed. It would ripple through relays, rewriting playbooks. Chen leaned back. They're bunching defensive, ma'am. No vectors on us. Good. Plot rally with the corvettes. We regroup, then hunt stragglers. Rourke patched in. Hulls holding, jump stress minimal. Those raiders, we fed 'em plasma. Captain Trell's boys won't forget. Vance allowed a thin smile. They won't. Hours blurred in hyperspace skips. Vanguard rendezvoused with the relief flotilla. Scans cleared the sector. Armada ghosts faded. On the bridge, Vance reviewed the after-action. Crew losses, 12. Enemy boarders, over 2,000 neutralized. Rails accounted for 37 capital ships. The numbers stared back, clinical. File it, she told Chen. He uploaded the packet. Blunt headers, boarding doctrine revision, humans do not yield intact. Intercepts flooded in as they transited. Kethrune's fleet fractured. Survivors broadcast distress, not orders. One captain broke silence on open freak. They turned our pods against us, welcoming committees with fire hoses, never bored humans whole. Vance muted it. Her crew worked in rhythm, damaged teams welding Marines, restocking mags. No cheers, just quiet competence. Rourke stomped onto the bridge, toolkit slung. All green, Commander, she's thirsty for round 2. Stand by. Vance eyed the long-range plot. Armada remnants coalesced at rally point Gamma 9. Kethrune rallied them, voice strained. Pursuit vectors locked, Chen reported. But they're keeping distance. Optimal engagement range, they're staying double. Vance traced the lines, fear geometry. Aliens who prized capture now savored survival. Shadow them, she said. Let the message spread. Days out, neutral relays pinged acknowledgements. Colony nets buzzed. Vanguard stand. Intact no more. Kethrune's final log leaked via pirate feed, his bridge in ruins. We sought prestige in boarding. Humans made it slaughter their ship, a fortress of traps, doctrine shifts, kill from afar. Vance holstered her sidearm, the one she'd drawn for borders. It clicked home. Chen glanced up. Sector chatters viral, ma'am. Never take a human ship intact. It's their new myth. She met his eyes. Ours is preparation. Vanguard accelerated into the black. Flotilla in trail. The Armada's shadow shortened, but fresh signatures bloomed on the plot. Kethrune's reinforcements? No scouts veering wide. They're running, Rourke said from the hatch. Vance nodded. Lesson delivered. The void whispered back with silence. Deep in his flagship's command nodule, Admiral Kethrune gripped the status pylon. Pursuit fleets stalled at standoff range. Captains cited anomalous human debris fields. Refused to close. Idiots, he snarled. but doubt gnawed. His own Marine's helmet cams replayed. Human engineers venting plasma, Marines stacking bodies in killboxes. Vanguard slipped their net like smoke. Savatrell limped in, bandages bulging. Admiral, the humans fight as units fuse to their ship. We lost cohesion in the corridors. Kethrun waved the report. Vance's message burned on every display. They redefine us, no more boarding glory. Trell nodded grim. Kill shots only, sir. The Admiral stared at the plot. Vanguard's icon led its pack untouchable. I spread the word. Vance watched the alien dispersal from the OBS deck. Stars wheeled. Chen's grid overlay marked their retreat vectors, cowards' arcs. They're broadcasting it, he said softly. All fleets amend doctrine, human vessels ineligible for capture. She crossed her arms. Good. Saves ammo. Rourke joined them, thermos in hand. Heard the chatter, our welcoming committee's legend now. Vance turned. Prep for turnover, sector command wants debrief. Crew saluted as she passed. No boasts, just nods. In the ready room, Vance composed the final log. Vanguard demonstrates. Disciplined response turns boarding into attrition. Enemy overconfidence exposed. Human assets secure. She hit send. The sector changed that cycle. Pirate nets crowned it. The intact myth dies. Armadas rerouted. Scouts probed from afar. Vance stepped to the bridge. Helm new course, we have work. Engines thrummed. Vanguard surged. Humans pressed on, prepared always. Fresh alarms blared. Distant contacts, ambush signatures. Chen's voice sharpened. Multiple signatures, ma'am, they're testing the myth. Vance smiled cold. Let them.